Okay, welcome this evening to the Consensus Commission Chambers. I call this August 23rd, 2022 hybrid administrative meeting of the Bernalillo County Commissioners to order. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chair Benson.
Please stand and join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Benson. Madam County Manager, are there any changes or additions to this evening's agenda?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Mr. Vice Chair and Commissioners. We have no changes or additions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start with item number 4, Proclamations, and I'm the sponsor of the first one. This is September is National Recovery Month, and I wanted to present this wonderful proclamation that I'll read. The Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners, whereas the 2022 National Recovery theme is Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. This reminds people in recovery and those who support them that recovery belongs to all of us. And whereas addressing the complex alcohol, drug, and mental health treatment needs of children, youth, and families today requires both prevention and treatment interventions, which are fundamental to the safe and healthy future of Bernalillo County. And whereas in 2018, it was estimated that nearly 1 in 10 New Mexican adults and 1 in 6 young adults between 18 and 25 years of age have a substance use disorder. And during that same year, New Mexico recorded its highest alcohol-related death rate at 70.3 deaths per 100,000 individuals, and its second highest drug overdose rate at 26 deaths per 100,000. And whereas we recognize National Recovery Month now in its third year as a call to promote and support evidence-based treatment and recovery practices to make recovery attainable in our communities and for our families. And whereas mental health and substance use disorder are not one-size-fits-all conditions, nor do they affect everyone equally. Culturally competent, multilingual resources and gender-expansive programs should acknowledge and include LGBTQ+, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and other historically marginalized community members. And whereas observance of National Recovery Month serves as a reminder that when we empower communities and families, we are engaging in healing that extends beyond the individual. Every person, every family, every community means we are proud of our diversity and are committed to sharing our personal accomplishments and struggles, reaching across barriers to support one another and actively dismantling systems that harm our neighbors in recovery. And whereas local volunteers and organizations working to support the recovery of individuals have organized Albuquerque Celebrates Recovery, 7th annual event, which will be held virtually through the month of September. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes September 22nd as National Recovery Month and invites all residents, private institutions, businesses, and schools to participate in increasing awareness and understanding of the challenges inherent in the recovery process and spread the message that prevention works, treatment is effective, and recovery is possible for people and families. Done this 13th day of September 2022 in Bernalillo County, State of New Mexico, signed by all the Board of Commissioners. Thank you. And yes, thanks. That's the proclamation. I'm not sure if there was anyone here to receive it. We did reach out, but we will get it to our local affiliate. And there is Albuquerque Celebrate Recovery events happening throughout this month. You can find that on their website. And please save the date. The county and city are partnering on an event on October 13th to bring awareness around the fentanyl epidemic. So hope to have you all there. I will move on to the second proclamation for this evening. Sponsors Commissioner O'Malley and Commissioner Quesada for Hispanic Heritage Day proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I'll say a few words and then you'll read the proclamation. Sure. We're both very honored to do and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Day. I travel a lot and, we always make the bottom of a lot of lists. But what I find out when I travel and come home that we're definitely rich in so many ways here in New Mexico. And some of the richness is that we're rich more so than most states in culture and heritage. And that should mean a lot to us. That should, bring us together in a way, and it has. I'm very proud to be a New Mexican. I'm very proud to be Hispanic. I got my DNA test done, and I'm 40% Native American, and I'm 38% Spanish. And I'm proud of both sides of that. And that's what makes New Mexico special. That's what makes us great. And I'm hoping that we always, throughout history, celebrate who we are and where we come from. And with that being said, it's on. You just shut it off. And with that being said, I will pass it over to Commissioner O'Malley to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. So just a little bit of interest here. My sister did a DNA test, and it turns out that you're our 8th cousin. So that goes to show you.
Well, now I'm going to have to recuse myself. I'm just kidding.
So this is a proclamation in honoring Hispanic Heritage Month, and it is sponsored by all the county commissioners. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is a month-long celebration of the contributions, diverse cultures, and extensive histories of the Hispano community in Bernalillo County and the United States. Hispanic Heritage Month began as a commemorative week in 1968, intended to recognize the heritage and contributions of Hispanic communities in the history of the United States, and the first national proclamation was issued in September 17, 1968, whereas the designation Hispanic was introduced in the U.S. Census in 1970 to create a broad national category that included the Spanish-speaking communities of Mexican, Cuban, and Puerto Rican immigrants. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th of each year to coincide with the Independence Day celebrations of our Central American neighbors in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Nicaragua, who declared their independence from Spain on September 15th, 1821, and it coincides with the independence of Mexico on September 16th, Chile on September 18th, and Belize on September 21. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month was expanded from a commemorative week to a month in 1989, to properly observe and coordinate events and activities to celebrate Hispanic culture and achievement. The Spanish-speaking peoples whose ancestors made their homes and raised their families in the geographic areas identified as modern-day Mexico, the territory of New Mexico, have a unique history, one of violent conflict and eventual peace with the indigenous peoples in the area. And whereas many of these families, a result of hundreds of years of settlement, share the same ancestry as their native brothers and sisters, the 2022 Hispanic Heritage Month national theme is Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation. Both the theme and the national poster reinforce the need to ensure diverse voices and perspectives and are welcomed in decision-making processes, therefore helping to build stronger communities and a stronger nation. And whereas the county acknowledges and takes pride in the accomplishments of Hispanic ancestors who fought for equality, justice, and peace, now therefore be it resolved that the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners does honor the month of September 15th to October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month and encourages businesses, organizations, and public entities in Bernalillo County to recognize the history of Hispanic communities in our country every month of the year. On this day, September 13th, 2022, in Bernalillo County, state of New Mexico, and signed by all the Board of Commissioners. And I just wanted to add just a little bit, as the Commissioner Quesada had said, we do have a unique history here in New Mexico. one of not only, Spanish, but of course native, but also it's turning out that it's Basque and Portuguese and all the different countries within the Iberian, in the what's called Iberian Peninsula. And it's just fascinating that we are connected, not, we're related to one another, which is just a fascinating thing. But a lot of times our accomplishments as a community here, we're not recognized. And what we need to do is, have a better understanding of our own history and our culture. And I think that's something that our young people need to know and to celebrate those accomplishments, because I think they're very great. And I think another thing to note is this, this is an area, or this region that we're talking about goes into Mexico, it goes all the way into southern Colorado. There were no borders. Where people traveled back and forth, there was no such thing as, illegal immigrants, right? We were all related going back and forth. I think that's a wonderful thing too about our history. So just wanted to say that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioners Quesada and O'Malley. Awesome. Well, great. We're moving on to items number 5, certificates and awards. And the first, I'm so excited, and as the theme seems to be lots of commentary tonight, I just want to say that next, I am a sponsor of this recognition for Bernalillo County Community Center staff. And I just want to start by saying that, I grew up in community centers, benefited from that. My kids also benefited from it. Also, before, when I was a teenager, I worked as a recreation leader, and I just absolutely loved it. Yes, please, I don't mean for you to get up, but I want to be able to honor you all. There's so much that I'll read through this proclamation, but not only what you all do year round to keep our families healthy and have activities and be engaged in our communities. Everybody nowadays, it's almost trendy to say, meet people where they're at. Community centers meet people where they're at in their own neighborhoods, in our own communities. And to top it off, all that work that you all do year round, your hearts, leading with your hearts. During the pandemic, you had to switch gears and find a new way to be in service. And I just want to thank you for that incredible job. So I'll get to the actual certificate. Thank you for being up here. This is an acknowledgement. The Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners does hereby acknowledge Bernalillo County Community Center managers. Bernalillo County Parks, Rec, and Open Space is responsible for creating and providing recreation, leisure, and community services necessary to promote public well-being and quality of life for youth, adults, senior citizens, and special populations. Bernalillo County operates 8 community centers, each managed by a qualified, well-trained, and dedicated manager who oversees the day-to-day fiscal and long-term operations, organizes and schedules programs and activities for youth and adults to include the summer recreation program, aerobics and fitness classes, dance, arts and crafts, and one-on-one literacy, tutoring, and during COVID-19, special programming was instituted, included grab-and-go lunches, arts and crafts to go, and ceramics for seniors. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, as Bernalillo County closed its facilities, including community centers, the managers remained on the job providing support, remote programming for children and young people within the community, and volunteering time at vaccination sites and other COVID-related activities. And Bernalillo County Community Center managers are Manny Garcia, Los Padillas Community Center. James Wolfell, Los Vecinos Community Center. Mario Armendariz, Mountain View Community Center. Vanessa Romero, Paradise Hills Community Center. Fred Woodfull, Raymond G. Sanchez Community Center. Jason Martinez, South Valley Multipurpose Senior Center. Diana Chavez, Vista Grande Community Center. And Angelina Jaramillo, Westside Community Center. It is with appreciation and great pride that the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners honors and recognizes the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Community Center managers and conveys its sincere appreciation for their dedication to the citizens of the county and their selfless devotion to their work. Thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Quesada.
Yeah, I'd also like to extend my thank you to, everybody here tonight. As you know, you read off, I think 4 of those facilities are in my district, and I don't think the community knows the work that sometimes I throw at them, and the work they just do on their own is amazing. I've been blessed to go see many of the programs that they do at Westside for sure, and you'd be amazed at how many kids are there and how many lives they're impacting, and not just youth, but everybody. It's definitely a place for everybody. When I was a kid, it was just where kids went, and this staff has changed that, and I'd like to thank you for that. It's really welcoming to the whole community, and they rely on you, and you're definitely community servants, man, at the highest level, and I think that we forget about you, and I'm glad tonight that we haven't. We even do a thing called South Valley Pride Day, and I know that's probably the biggest job I throw at you, and every year you do better and better, and it's amazing. And so I want to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the work that you've done for me and my district to make me look good, because it ain't me, it's you. So thank you.
That's right. Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Piscotti.
Thanks. I would also like to extend a special shout out to the community centers in my district. Vista Grande, thank you, Diana. And Los Vecinos, thank you, James. And I want to invite everybody to the East Mountain Celebration on September 25th, because I know that it's going to be at Los Vecinos. I know that staff from all over, right? Not only the East Mountain community centers, but all over the county are going to come and help out. We're going to have the zip line in the beer garden. And a lot of fun. The theme is county fair. So I hope everybody can join us and see our wonderful Los Vecinos Community Center. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Benson.
I got to jump into with the Raymond G. Sanchez and the Paradise Hills community centers. You guys are awesome with our big event in the summer, as well as the veteran outreach. So thank you so much. You don't get enough credit for everything you do. And so tonight we honor you.
Yes, County Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to express my appreciation and my pride in everything that you all do. Some of us go back, I think, since 2004. And I'm just real proud to play a small part of your contributions to the community. I wanted to acknowledge, our fearless leaders also. Andre Dixon, can you please stand up? Debbie Jo Almaher, thank you. And also Enrico Grati. Enrico's out there with the staff, working along with them. So I just want, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for everything that you do. You make us all better. You make the county better. So I know Debbie Jo wanted to say a few words.
Yes, I do. Don't they look beautiful and handsome?
They look amazing.
I can't do this job without them. So I'm very appreciative of every one of y'all, and of course the rest of my staff that I have in my department. Commissioner, Madam Chair, and County Manager, Commissioners. I'm presenting today the Explore Recreation software program that we implemented. Makes our job a lot easier. It's another tool. I've got others that I want to recognize here as well today. It's been a year long of, gosh, how many times did we meet a week? At least you guys did. Years of the software program coming. But the Explore Recreation program is an online registration system which will allow our customers to access and register for programs, events, sports leagues, and purchase memberships for our aquatic centers and fitness centers. In addition, you will, oh, it's going to fix me up. See? I can't do it without him.
Where's the slide?
Oh, right here.
Boom.
Ah, there you go. Sorry about that. Okay. In addition, you will be able to view the parks and sports fields for availability and reservations. So, is that big enough there? Oh, that's kind of blurry there. From the start, it's from a smart device. Your customers can now register for programs, again, activities, classes in advance, register a team for sports leagues, purchase memberships, our fitness centers and aquatic facilities, view the parks and community centers online. Training and teamwork. The pros team worked with procurement, budget, IT, treasurers, and accounting departments to successfully award an RFP and worked over a year on the system configuration. Over 100 pros employees were trained for 5 weeks utilizing the Juniper training room upstairs here at the Alvarado Square. You can see some of the pictures here, how many people were involved. Is it going? Oops, I missed one. Our Go Live launch was on September 7th, just last week. The pros department promoted this event at 11 different locations, including our community centers, Rio Grande Pool, and administrative office. Customers were able to grab promotional goodies while we assisted them with creating their client profiles. Accessibility, the pros events and promotion team created instructional videos to assist customers with how to create a client and how to register online. As of last Wednesday, we have accepted online over 120 payments online, over 220 registrations. From July to the before Go Live date, we had 200 registered on in person. In less than a week, we had 220 register online. So that's a big, we're time savings for all the families, and we've collected over $17,000 in just 1 week from going online. People that I really would like to recognize, they couldn't have done it without this global administrators and project team and trainers. Corina Cortez, she led the Carmen Armendariz, Diana Chavez, Manny Garcia, Roberto Violante Ucero, Heather Martinez couldn't be here with us tonight, but still want to wish her thanks. Jason Martinez, Adam Splitek, Shamar Valdez, Jerry Schuell from IT, and Ryan Trevelstead from Deputy Treasurer's Office. Like I mentioned, there was so many that helped with this process. Like, we've been here, I think I got here 7.5 years ago, and we talked about we need to have an online system. We had to wait for the point and pay the merchant services. So we waited a few years, I guess you could say, but we're there. And hopefully in January, we'll start our online registration. But I want to thank everybody personally from my heart.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Abijo Mayer. So exciting to hear about the great access, and that just means so much for the ways our community, and you all are helping people access the accessibility which is needed. Sometimes we think everybody could just get on it, but can't. So thank you for doing that work. And I just don't want to take away from, again, recognizing our community center managers. Thank you so much for your service. You are the lifeline for our communities, and we recognize and appreciate you. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner O'Malley.
I just wanted to, Debbie Jo, now people can, if they can't navigate these systems, they can go, where would they go to just?
Madam Chair, Commissioner O'Malley, yes, they can contact us, and any one of these, we'll be able to teach them how to do it. They can do it via the phone, or they can come in and we can show them how to
Okay,
access
so
it.
if they come in, can their registration be processed by
Yes.
someone? Okay, so they could still come in and do that?
They can
Okay.
still come in and we'll accept their payment. And we'll create a client for them, and they can do it.
Okay, because I
They
mean,
won't be
we just assume a lot of things, you know, I'm getting older and my children are always telling me what I can do with my phone.
Yes,
So,
and you can do it on phone.
So there's a lot of grandmas out there that are helping their kids, so I just want to make sure that,
We
you
will
know, there's
help
still
them.
the opportunity to, you know, just, yeah,
Come in.
okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for your commitment to our communities and our families. Okay, great. Next, we have Public Works Division, recognition of Public Works Road Crew, Director Antonio Jaramillo to present.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, and Madam County Manager, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to acknowledge some of the great accomplishments that our operations and maintenance staff have achieved in the past few months. I have a short video. I have two videos, but the first video I'll show will like to introduce the first item. So let's see if hopefully this works.
Bernalillo County Public Works crews were working hard helping residents around the state during fire and flooding events. On May 6, Bernco employees were sent to Los Alamos for fire support and sent two 3,500-gallon water trucks, 2 pickups, a transport unit, 3 operators, and 2 foremen. They hauled 70,000 gallons of water from a fire hydrant uphill 5 miles to store additional water in a reservoir for support of the Cerro Pelado fire. On June 20th, Bernco supplied 400 cubic yards of sand and portable light plants to Mora County. Our crews coordinated with the New Mexico Department of Transportation to haul 17 trucks of sand to Mora County. Bernco employees loaded NMDOT trucks that hauled sand that was utilized for sandbags used to help with flooding efforts. From June 14th to the 20th, Bernco helped Mora County with road grading. Bernco supplied 2 motor graders, 1 excavator, 3 heavy equipment operators, and 1 foreman. Crews again coordinated with NMDOT for the transport of equipment. The goal was to grade and construct roadways that had been washed away by the flooding, particularly in the burn scar areas. A big thanks to Bernco Public Works employees who worked many hours to help our neighbors in northern New Mexico during these very trying times.
Thank you. So as explained in the video, our road crews were asked through the state EOC to provide aid to Mora and Los Alamos counties. For the Los Alamos operation, we provided staff to help with transporting water from one reservoir to another to help prepare the county for fire suppression. We provided water trucks and transport vehicles for this operation. Mr. Chris Pacheco, Steve Benavides, Brandon McDonald, Joaquin Ortiz, Joseph Vigil volunteered to help in this effort. For the Mora County operation, we were called out on 2 separate instances to help with grading of washed out roads and reestablishing washed out arroyos. We partnered with NMDOT to help with transport of the grader and excavator, which was used in the area. The first operation was on the weekend of a county holiday, and as well as Father's Day. Mr. Brandon Fuentes, Chris Pacheco, Manuel Zamora, Leonard Zamora, and Robert Miera volunteered for this effort. Both crews will be receiving a certificate of acknowledgement, which reads, Acknowledgement, the Bernalillo County Board of County Commissioners does hereby acknowledge Bernalillo County Public Works Road Crew in May and June of this year. Bernalillo County Public Works Road Crew spent many hours working in Los Alamos and Mora County during fire and flooding events there. Bernco provided water trucks and personnel to provide water support to firefighters in Los Alamos during the Cerro Pelado fire. In addition, Bernco road crews worked with New Mexico Department of Transportation to transport sand and sandbags and portable light stands to Mora County during major flooding in the area. Bernco road crews also graded and constructed a road in Mora County that has been washed out by flooding. The Bernalillo County Board of County Commissioners wishes to acknowledge and congratulate Bernalillo County Public Works road crews for their outstanding and tireless work helping New Mexicans in their time of need. A big thank you to the coordination efforts of our DCM Elias Archuleta, Amor Solano, Richard Clark, and the facility staff, and of course the NMDOT in making this operation a success. This proves that our outstanding employees are ready to answer the call when fellow counties are in need. I am truly blessed to be part of this amazing group of individuals who give of their time and talents to help New Mexicans in need. Like Chris and I don't know if the acknowledgement is here, but
This was on the first one.
this was on the first one, yeah. I don't know. I have so many here. We'll get it for you.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Good.
And can we go to the next one?
Yes, please. Thank you for that, Mr. Jaramillo. This will, Director Antonio Amarillo, the 2022 Road EO team.
I have a video now, so we can
In the saddle at the annual Heavy Equipment Rodeo on
start it.
State Fair Rodeo time is almost here, but our Bernco Public Works road and storm drain sections got in the saddle at the annual Heavy Equipment Rodeo on June 15th, 2022, sponsored by the New Mexico Association of Counties. Bernco is no stranger to winning this event and won overall in 2013 through 17. There was no event in 20 or 21 due to COVID, so competitors were chomping at the bit to show their skills again. This year's event was hosted by Bernalillo County, and 20-plus employees competed in the rodeo from the road and storm drain sections. This year's winners were, in the motor grader event, first place, Chris Pacheco. Second place, Brandon Fuentes. In the loader event, second place, Brandon McDowell. Third place, Chris Pacheco. And in the backhoe event, first place, Chris Pacheco. Second place, Brandon McDonald. And third place, Manuel Zamora. And in the women's trailer event, first place went to Jessica Pacheco. Second place, Blair Lopez. And third place, Amor Solano. And finally, Bernalillo County won the overall county award and trophy. Congratulations to all the Bernco competitors in the 2022 Heavy Equipment Rodeo. Time is almost here, but our Bernco Public Works road and storm drain sections.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, and Madam County Manager, as explained in the video, on June 15th, 2022, road and storm drain crews participated in the Association of Counties Equipment Rodeo, which was hosted by Bernalillo County. The event allows crews from all over the state to demonstrate their respective skills of mastery of operation in the motor grader, loader, and backhoe. They were given a series of challenges that were timed, and based on their performance were given points. Participating in this year's event were George Bennett, Chris Pacheco, Brandon McDonald, Alan Serta, Julian Chavez, Brandon Fuentes, Steve Benavides, Manuel Zamora, Joaquin Ortiz, Anastasio Zamora, Robert Rivera, Robert Miera, Steve Richardson, Andres Bojunda, Mitchell Kelly, Joseph Vigil, Angel Maldonado, Amor Solano, Richard Sanchez, Anthony Morales, Robert Sanchez Sr., Patrick Chavez, and Joshua Pacheco, each of which will be receiving a certificate of recognition which states the following. Certificate of recognition given to all participants from Bernalillo County for outstanding work at the annual Heavy Equipment Rodeo on June 15, 2022, sponsored by the New Mexico Association of Counties. Public Works team members competed in the rodeo against heavy equipment operators from around the state in 4 events: motor grader, front end loader, backhoe, and women's trailer event. They represented Bernalillo County by bringing home 10 individual championships and the overall county award and trophy. The Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners wants to recognize the Bernalillo County Burnco Public Works road and storm drain sections for their outstanding prowess and heavy equipment operations and winning the 2022 Heavy Equipment Rodeo. We are no strangers to winning this event, having won it for the event for 5 years straight. However, in 2018 and 2019, we did not receive the top prize, so we were ready to defend our honor. This past year, we got first and second place in motor grader event, as mentioned, from Mr. Chris Pacheco and Brandon Fuentes, respectively. The loader event, Brandon McDonald got second and second place, and Chris Pacheco got third. And in the backhoe event, we swept the competition, receiving the top 3 places with Chris Pacheco, Brandon McDonald, and Manuel Zamora, respectively. We also swept the women's event, trailer event, which was Jessica Pacheco, first place, Blair Lopez, second place, and our own Amor Solano getting third place. And of course, we were successful in bringing home to its rightful place the overall traveling trophy, which Chris is holding up. And we also received a $4,000 check for fog seal from Sealmaster. So Bernalillo County is fortunate to have some of the best operators in the state, and we intend to continue our efforts in making Bernalillo County the best county in the state. Thank you.
Very nice.
Upside down? Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Benson.
well, let's
Take a,
let's take a picture first.
hey, take the bulldog, yep.
Huge ended from sheep to honey badgers.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Congratulations.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Director.
So this is just one example of how Public Works has made it its motto and our approach to answer the call when called. As you guys see, not only during summer months with flooding, winter months with plowing, even when it hits outside of our county, when the phone call comes, we answer it. And when we got called for the sand moving, they called 4 other agencies and they landed with us, and within a matter of a couple of hours, we had things ready to move. We knew where it was coming from, and we had people lined up to come. And I wanted to point out a little bit of an error in the presentation. We moved 17 trucks the first day, which was on the Monday of Juneteenth. They came back for 3 more days, and overall, over the 3-day period, we moved over 40 trucks worth of material out of Bernalillo County, with us providing the material and the loaders to do it. So it's with pride that I stand here with our crews from Public Works, and as you guys have seen with us, you guys call, we answer, and we step up. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Also, Mr. Archuleta, just want to, and you can go ahead and sit down. I just want to thank you and Antonio, Mr. Jaramillo. Thank you all and your whole department. This is a great recognition, talking about what you've done for the rest of the state. And as the largest county, we're looked to as leaders. So thank you. And also the award, the trophy. Congratulations. I know that's fun, but that you've won that because of all the practice you get here in the county. And I want to thank you for that, because my constituents have benefited greatly from that. And there's so much coordination between our departments, whether it's the illegal parkers on Green, where we have to work with another agency, Paradise Hills Zoning Committee, which is an autonomous organization, and then working with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department, and you guys are keeping kids safe on that street. Or North Albuquerque Acres, where you're taking care of the roads. You guys have a lot of practice and a lot of work, and that's one of the main things we can do for our county is make sure the infrastructure works. So thank you all for everything you're doing.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner O'Malley.
Thank you so much. I'm so very proud of our employees and, answering the call. Is, a lot of us have family up north, and I have family in Mora. And I know I had discussions with you, Elias. You just said we just got to do what's right, get up there. And a lot of people just volunteered their time, as you said, over some times where they could be with family. So thank you all very, very much. Really appreciate it.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you for representing the county, and I want to be invited next time. Watch, it sounds fun.
Madam Chair, can I say something really
Yes,
quick?
please.
I just wanted to also, thank our road department very much for everything that you do. And Elias, you remember the day that I called you, I actually got a call from the governor's office, and they had asked around if anybody could assist them. I said, no problem, I'll take care of it. I made one call, and within hours, they were in motion. I got pictures of all the work that they were doing, and I'm just really, really proud to work with all of you. And again, just play a small role in everything that you do. So thank you for sacrificing too, because during the winter months when it snows and, we're all inside being warm, you guys are the ones that are outside protecting the community and during flooding and any other emergencies that we have. So thank you all very, very much for keeping us safe.
Thank you so much. Exciting evening to recognize such our strong staff. We will move on to public comment, item number 6. For folks that are giving public comment, you will have 2 minutes to share your comments. You'll be notified that your time is up. For those participating via Zoom, you'll be muted and moved to the waiting room. Should any of the commissioners have follow-up questions on your comments, you will have an opportunity to answer. Julianne, how many people do we have signed up to speak? And please call the first name.
Madam Chair, we have 8 signed up to speak, 2 of which are on Zoom. And we will start with the in-person attendees. When I state your name, please make your way down to the podium and state your name before your comments. Starting with Mr. Don Schrader, Ramona Goldsby, and John Veltri.
Don Schrader. Our very close relatives, the bonobo apes of Africa, live, make, love, not war. Never in the wild, never in a zoo has one bonobo been seen killing another bonobo. They settle conflicts with sex. Male and female, female and female, male and male, giving and receiving pleasure instead of pain, bruises, violence, and murder. Why do millions of men suffer shame and guilt about their sexual attraction to men? I have no shame, no guilt about passionate sex with a healthy single man who is attracted to me and I attracted to him. Why are millions addicted to violent movies, violent video games, violent sports, boxing and football? Why are millions addicted to guns and to war? Soon after I first had sex with any man, when I was 31 in 1976, I told my mother. A few years later, she told me she wished she could be a mouse in the corner to watch me have sex with a man. Sadly, that never happened. I wish it had. Many people would consider my mother weird and crazy for wanting to watch me as an adult give and receive sexual pleasure with a man. Sadly, many fathers, many mothers proudly cheer their sons bloodying, bruising, brain injuring, inflicting pain on men in boxing and football. Why are millions drunk on pain and violence between men? Why do millions shame men giving and receiving pleasure with men?
Ramona Goldsby, John Veltri, Ali Anenga.
Start? Okay. My name is Ramona Goolsby, and I'm here from Sandoval County. I request my comments be placed on public record. I first want to commend your county clerk staff for being very professional and accommodating to our research. I believe we all want the same thing, transparency and truth. On Thursday, September 1st, 2022, a group of us were granted permission to review the pre-election certificates, tapes, and sample ballots at the voting warehouse. Nathan Jaramillo was very professional and answered our questions. I thanked him for that. I provided a copy of the 4 pre-election certificates for the June 7th primary. I wanted to point out there are some concerns. Notice all of the clerk's signatures are stamped. This would be okay if her seal were present to verify that she reviewed the certificates. There were no verifying marks indicating the machine at Bernalillo Elementary School was checked. I also want to point out the certificate dates listed do not have an accompanying set of logic and accuracy tapes that match the date. It appears the tests were done starting in April. According to the tapes we were able to view, in order for these certificates to be accurate, they should have had corresponding tapes attached, and the certificate should reflect the actual date that they were tested. This would be required by any audit in private business, and we would expect no less from our government. I want to say Nathan was very positive about working with others and open to comments. I also want to say congratulations to Bernalillo that you only have 2 drop boxes, which we know those are susceptible to fraud. So by limiting that, you are limiting fraud. I also want to take one more minute to let you know the incident reports your county clerk made available to review. There were 255 pages of incidents that occurred during the primary, if you were not aware of it. Thank you.
I'll wait till you pass those out. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Good evening. I'm John Veltri from Sandoval County, and I would like my comments recorded on the record. I think you all recognize this book right here. Rule number 1, to solve a problem, you must first understand the process. I am the lead for the Election Integrity Patriot team, specifically for Sandoval County. The team of Patriots started with only a handful of people about 7 months ago. We've grown to over 1,000 to date. Over the past 7 months, several other counties throughout New Mexico, reaching as far as Santa Fe, including Bernalillo and Rio Rancho, have also attended our monthly meetings as well. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before each of you commissioners tonight and share a little bit of the work that we have been doing with the Election and Integrity Patriot team in partnership with our Sandoval County commissioners. The copy of the slide presentation I've just given to you tonight is the same copy that was shared during the 2-day Moment of Truth Summit held in Springfield, Missouri, hosted by Mike Lindell on August 20th and August 21st, 2022. I, along with Ramona, and also Joshua, who's in the room, we were 3 of the 11 that were invited to attend this historic event for New Mexico, which was an honor and humbling experience. They were 12-hour days each. There was a total of only 1,000 invites representing all 50 states across our nation. New Mexico was one of the most successful states as far as being over the target, meeting and exceeding the objectives and expectations to help us improve integrity in our past, present, and future elections throughout New Mexico. Many of the other states requested the same slides each of you have tonight so that they could follow our example, go back to their home state and share it. Just a side note, the two-day Moment of Truth Summit was viewed by millions worldwide for each of the 12 hours, both days, free on Frank's Beach TV. Maybe some of you saw it. My hope is that tonight, each of you will take a few minutes to review the hard work and effort that's been put forth over the last 7 months and choose to follow some of the examples we have set in Sandoval County as well. Thank you, and together we can and we will make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have a beautiful facility, by the way.
Thank you.
Ali Aninga, followed by Cree Myers and Val Dater.
Madam Chair and County Commissioners, my name is Ali Eniga. I live in Bernalillo County, and Mr. Benson is actually my commissioner, and I appreciate the work that he does. I appreciate the work that you do. I'm having these handbooks handed out. These are taken directly from the New Mexico statutes annotated, which is law, and I think that you all need to be familiar with Section 13 if you're not, because those are your duties in the election. And so if our Secretary of State is telling you that you have to certify right away, you don't. There is provisions in there for you to look at those elections and to make sure that you're doing the right thing for your county. I want to thank you for your time and have a good day.
Cree Myers, Val Dater. Okay, we'll move on to Zoom attendees.
I was waiting for the Mrs. Myers. Cree Myers. I'm Val Dater. Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, Madam Chair. Hello, Mr. Vice Chair. My name is Val Dater. I'm a Bernalillo County resident. I ask that my comments be put on record. Recently in the primary in DeKalb County in Georgia, there was a county commissioner race. It was a Democrat race. Okay, so there was 3 people that came down to a runoff. The loser decided that she was going to go in and look at all the votes by precinct. Turns out in her precinct there were 0 votes for her. However, she and her husband both voted for her. She demanded a recount. Turns out that the man who was the leader was booted out of the race after the hand count, and she, the woman who had 0 counts and votes in her own precinct, became the leader in this runoff. So this is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This isn't to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, but we have digital machines that are counting our paper ballots, those good old paper ballots. They're counted by digital machines. They're called tabulators. In each tabulator, there's a video card or a photograph card. Any of you who have digital cameras know what these SD cards are? They take them out of every tabulator, and then they go and they plug them into the warehouse election management system that night, and that's how they tabulate the votes. And they're saying that they have 0 digital records. And I want to know how James Diaz and Nathan Jaramillo can be custodians of the Bernalillo County records and not have the digital data. Okay, and they're denying it, that it doesn't exist, it never existed. That's how you tabulate the votes. But they have those digital data for the 2022 primary. So they're supposed to be custodians of our records, or like stewards of our records. And I don't know how they're getting paid the salaries they're getting paid if they're not good stewards of our records. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your voice.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, going to Zoom. We have Annette Castillo, followed by Marcy May.
Hello, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, County Commissioners, for having me. I just want to say that there was found exposed this year 4 million minutes of government surveillance videos on the Dropbox across the United States with organized criminal droppings of mass mail-in ballots. And I would request that in the midterms in November that we do not send the ballots to the homes unless that person qualifies with the election code statutes for that ballot, because that is just creating more election fraud, which was found in the 2020 election. And these are government videos of the ballot boxes that were surveillanced by our taxpayer money. These are videos from our government. I'm just wondering why there's not investigation, why there's not an uproar within your group to get something done about this. The mail-in ballots and the drop boxes being there. 27 different drop boxes. This one person was followed in 6 different counties. You know, that is just crazy. This is not grandma walking her dog in the middle of the night dropping in her ballot. This is, or like I said, criminal cartel, organized crime that happens. And don't take my word, take the word of Biden.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo. Your time is up.
The most extensive voter fraud organizations in the history of America.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo. Next.
That's what,
speaker.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Marcy May?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Marcy.
Thank you so much for taking my testimony, and I ask that this be entered into the records. I'm from Bernalillo County, and I just wanted to reiterate on New Mexico statute, section 438-24, that one of the jobs of our county commissioners is that of elections. And one of the things that, I don't know if you've seen a thread, but there are many of us who are talking about the elections. And the reason why we're talking about elections is because it has been, as one of the articles from KOB, I believe, was saying this week, that, well, this matter's already been decided. We don't need to talk about it. And we are finding very concerning issues with that. I worked in the Bernalillo County Warehouse as a poll challenger on this primary. And I also had some pictures of some of our Dominion voting machine boxes over in one of our local warehouses, storage units. And I asked Nathan Jaramillo, I said, is our warehouse the only place that any of the Dominion voting machines should be? And he said, yes. I said, are you sure? Well, I have pictures to show the contrary. So while everybody else wants to kind of brush this thing through because it's already been decided, we are saying that there is evidence of fraud, and we are asking you as our county commissioners who are responsible for making these, making sure that our elections are secure for everyone, not just Republicans, but for everyone's, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, DTS people. We are asking you to hold this very sacred responsibility and take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Thank you, everyone, for coming and engaging your voices. We'll move on to item number 7, appointments to advisory boards and committees. And we're starting with Commissioner Benson supporting a library board appointment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I would like to make the motion to approve Mitchell Graham to the library board.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. You have a due pass. We'll move to item 7B, Office of Criminal Justice and Behavioral Health Initiatives. We actually have 2 members of the Addiction Treatment Advisory Board on the Zoom, and I'd like to give them a moment to, and I would make a motion to approve, but I'd like to give them a moment to talk about the appointment of Kara Trump, representing the Youth Mental Health Specialist to the board. We can see, I believe, Dr. Rivka Stern or Dr.
Yes.
Great.
I'll
Thank you for
start.
being here, Dr. Stern.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm Madam Chairperson and members of the Commission. I'm Dr. Laura Rivka Stern. I'm a family physician here in town and now Chairperson of the Addiction Treatment Advisory Board. On behalf of ATAB, we are presenting on agenda number 7, letter B, motion to approve the appointment of a new member, Kara Trump, to the board to fulfill the current vacancy for youth mental health specialist for a 3-year term. I'm also very pleased to see all of you, and hopefully the ATAB board will be able to give you updates about our work, maybe quarterly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rivka Stern. Yes, I'm excited to get updates from you all, and I'm sure the rest of the commissioners will be as well. Thank you for this appointment. And just to say to folks watching and folks in our audience that we do have an addiction treatment advisory board. These folks are voluntary, mostly local doctors, system impacted people that give of their own time. And so just want to appreciate them. And to your newest member, Kara Trump, I move that we approve the appointment of Kara Trump to the Addiction Treatment Advisory.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
I'm so sorry, but I did want to introduce Barbara McCready. She is the vice chair, and she's present at the meeting as well.
Yes,
thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I'm Dr. Barbara McCready. I'm a clinical psychologist and the new vice chair of the ATAB. I've devoted my whole career to addictions treatment and research, and I'm really looking forward to working with the commissioners and the board and the county to improve addiction services in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both and the whole committee for your service. You have a due pass on your appointment, and thanks again. Moving on to item 8, approval of minutes. I move to approve the August 23rd, 2022 administrative meeting minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? So moved. Item number 9, approval of the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please provide resolution numbers from items 9A and ordinance numbers for items 9E through 9K. The consent agenda has been published and made available to the public. Therefore, I move, give the numbers, please, first. County Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For item 9A, we have AR 2022-98. For item 9E, ordinance 2022-19. For item 9F, ordinance 2022-20. Item 9G, ordinance 2022-21. Item 9H, ordinance 2022-22. Item 9I, ordinance 2022-23. Item 9J, ordinance 2022-24. And item 9K, ordinance 2022-25.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move to approve the consent agenda. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Piscotti. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. Items 9 passed. Now we'll move on to item 10, adoption of resolution. Madam Clerk, please provide resolution numbers for the following items, 10A and B. 3.
Yes, Madam Chair. For item 10A, AR 2022-99. And for item 10B, Financial Resolution FR 2022-100.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Amending the adoption of resolution, County Clerk amending the 2022 general election polling locations. Nathan Jaramillo to present. Thank you, Mr. Jaramillo.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Nathan was in the audience. We don't know where he went. His partner is expecting a baby anytime. So I texted him and he didn't answer. So let's hope for the best.
Yes.
So with that, my name is Jamie Diaz. I'm the Deputy County Clerk for Linda Stover, and I'm here to present the resolution for your approval. We have one election day and early voting site at West Bluff in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's close to the Home Depot, just off I-40 south on Coors. We're usually located, or we have been located, facing north. We found an opportunity to move in the same little shopping center just around the corner facing west. We are gaining about 800 square feet, so the location is larger. And it's closer to our model location for early voting sites and election day sites or convenience centers at 3,500 square feet. The reason we need this amount is for our ballot on demand systems, our voting booths, and of course our systems to handle the voting process. And so with that, all the information is in your package, and I would answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Any questions?
Madam Chair, I move approval.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Forget it.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. You have a due pass.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission.
Thank you. And now on to items 10B, Office of Criminal Justice and Behavioral Health Initiatives, Medical Sobering Center, Director Pam Acosta and Gilbert Ramirez from the city to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners. My name is Pam Acosta. I'm the Senior Manager for the Behavioral Health Initiatives, and I'm accompanied by Gilbert Ramirez, City of Albuquerque Deputy Director of Behavioral Health and Wellness Programs, and also Michael Barndollar, who serves as our chair for our BHI Housing Subcommittee and also our Vice Chair on our steering committee. We're bringing before you a proposal for the City of Albuquerque's Medical Sobering Center, which seeks $4,350,000 in non-recurring capital and startup dollars to support the development of the medical sobering unit. The proposal has been discussed and reviewed with the BHI subcommittees, has been recommended by the BHI steering committee, and was approved by the ABCGC on August 25th. And with your permission, Madam Chair, if I could have Michael Barndollar elaborate on that process.
That would be wonderful. Welcome, Mr. Barndollar. Good to see you again.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, it's great to see you again. And thanks for all of your support. I know all of you support the Behavioral Health Initiative and the work that we do. And so I see you at meetings, and it's so great. So thank you very much. I'm here before you to support the recommendation that Pam just read to you based on the Bernalillo County's resolution 2016-24 as amended. We have a process to go through. It starts with the crisis subcommittee for this particular project, the Medical Sobering Center. Then it goes through the steering committee for the BHI and up through the ABCGC. The crisis subcommittee did not take action on this because there were a number of unanswered questions, mostly around finances. In a subsequent meeting between the leadership of the steering committee of the BHI, city staff, Mr. Ramirez, county staff, Ms. Acosta, and others, we've been able to resolve all those questions. So the steering committee had a unanimous approval of this motion to fund the $4.35 million for the Medical Sobering Center. Throughout the review process, which took over 6 months and many meetings, there was never an issue raised about the overwhelming need for the Medical Sobering Center. And I want to really point that out. And that's a lot of people people with lived experience, people who are providers. A lot of folks in our community participated in these meetings. The creation of this program fills a gap in the continuum of behavioral health services in our county and our city, and complements the social sobering model at the CARES campus, which I know you're all familiar with. As you are aware, there's been much discussion lately about better collaboration between the county and the city around behavioral health. This is a prime example of that collaboration, and together we can work to benefit those members of our community suffering from severe mental illness and substance use disorders. So thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the Commission, and I'll turn it over now to Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Bernalillo.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Pam. Madam Chair, members of the Commission, Madam County Manager, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak today on behalf of this collaborative initiative. As was said, it's been an honor to be able to speak to the Crisis Committee as well as the steering committees. At ATAB, we met earlier this week to just kind of review an overwhelming response around the need to be able to launch a medical sobering center in our city. I do want to highlight there are about 40 of these in the nation. There are none in New Mexico. We have an opportunity tonight to be able to step forward and be able to bring something to the continuum of care to address these issues at once in a collaborative manner between city and county. There's been an overwhelming amount of work done at the CARES campus to enhance services. Adding this burden to you all would not be, I think, fair on our end to be able to say, let us, with the acquisition of the Loveless Medical Center, which we now are calling the Gibson Health Hub, be able to add that on that site and location. So we appreciate the opportunity and consideration for us to be able to add to that. I do want to highlight that the vision for the Gibson Health Hub is going to bring to fruition additional capacity for shelter beds for those who are unhoused. We also are looking at an engagement center in which nonprofits will have space to be able to be on site to deliver services and engage folks into services immediately. We also hope to have our trauma recovery center, which is more dealt toward dealing with folks of support who are victims of either gun violence or violence in our community who need that mental health and behavioral health services. The facility already has 11 tenants, one of them being Turquoise Lodge, which is our detox facility, as well as Haven Behavioral that has inpatient behavioral health and intensive outpatient services. The model that we are trying to create here by adding Medical Sobering Center actually really builds nicely upon our ability to say this is a one-stop. You come in, and whether we need to transition you back over to the CARES campus for the social model once you're no longer in need of medical oversight and or the referral from their clinic over to ours to be able to take those folks. This is the building of a system that's going to work, hopefully, in partnership, in collaboration, to be able to make sure that no one's turned away. We lose no more folks, and we, more importantly, don't inundate our hospitals and emergency rooms with folks who are taking up spaces for folks who really need the medical care. The beauty to a medical sobering center is also one in which you have to understand, typically when you enter the ER, the protocol is to exit beds as quickly as possible. Medical sobering center doesn't work that way. It allows you a space to humbly get sober in a medical oversight environment and then return you back to the society. And hopefully, with many of those clients, there's an opportunity there for influence of change and access into services in which they might be ready to finally address. But more importantly, we know what we're dealing with as we are also working collaboratively with the upcoming summit on fentanyl. The level of drugs in our community and the need to be able to have a place to engage those folks and take them, we want to pull that off of our first responders. They are busy in dealing with these things every day. Having a place to be able to take the folks and hand them off so they can get back out into the community, it's crucial and it's vital. So I stand for any questions and consideration of this proposal, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and for doing all the rounds. I know you all are busy regular and you're doing all the rounds to make sure we all fully understand why this is so important and going to fill one of those huge gaps we have. Do any other commissioners have questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Piscotti.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree that there's definitely a need for a medical sobering center. I do have a lot of concerns, though. I know that I tried asking a lot of questions at the August 25th ABC-GC meeting. Unfortunately, my questioning was shut down in order to take the vote. So I still have a lot of concerns, and after the article came out yesterday in the Albuquerque Journal, I think it really brought to the surface a lot of concerns out there that this behavioral health tax is something that the residents, the taxpayers voted for, because it's important. And it's a tax that they voted to put on, that I voted for, you know, that we put on ourselves because we know that behavioral health is important. And so I think the public really needs to know more about what's going on with our behavioral health initiative. That article yesterday really, I think, brought out the need that we have for a strategic plan, and also honestly to know how much money is available in the bank of the behavioral health initiative. I know earlier this year I'd asked in an ABC-GC meeting how much money there was, and I was told there was no money available, that it was all tied up. So imagine how shocked I was on August 25th when I found out there was actually $32 million in there. I feel like, you know, as a commissioner, I'm not getting information as it's coming up. Apparently that was information that was known in June and then in August, and it didn't get to me until I just asked the question on August 25th. So I think that's significant. I think there needs to be way more transparency around the BHI. It's something that I support and obviously is so needed, you know, that we work together, that the city and the county work together. And I know in the Albuquerque Journal article, it referred to this haphazard, was it piecemeal, did they call it? Patchwork, haphazard patchwork. And so I'm just concerned that, you know, this is another case. This is almost $4.5 million. That's a significant amount of money. And so I'm concerned that it's not just going to become another piece of that patchwork. So yeah, I still have questions and concerns about this. So I just felt like I needed to voice that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Piscotti. Yes, Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, we do have a lot of gaps and a lot of holes, and we do have a lot of patching up to do. I'm the one that's going to say tonight that our prior administration, coming from the governor's office, destroyed our behavioral health system. We are now building something up from the ground up, and as we do that, we identify holes and patches that we got to do. I do understand the concern of doing business that way, but sometimes when you have to start from zero again, that's what happens. We had a great system in place and it was destroyed. And now we're going to spend the next 20 years trying to figure that out and fix it. And I wish the Journal would also put that in their article because they do not. They do not ever look back at what was done by the prior administration to the behavioral health system in New Mexico. They hired the people from Arizona. Where are they? They're not here. We're here. We have to fix it, and unfortunately, sometimes we got to patch it. And so if this is something that has gone through and been vetted through the process, then I definitely want to support it because we are working with New Mexico professionals who are professionals in this arena, and we have to trust that work because we can't sit around waiting to see what we got to fix. We got to start fixing, and then as we go, we have to fill in the gaps and the holes. That's where we're at, unfortunately, because of the history as what happened here to us in New Mexico. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. Commissioner Benson.
Madam Chair, thank you. We have such a huge need out in our community, which is why I support the initiative. My concern is we would love to work with the city more, but usually it's only the city asking us for additional resources. And like we showed earlier, we do step up. We step up around the state. When nobody else can do it, the county is helping. And then I read articles in the newspaper again about the mayor's office creating new $100,000 positions that I don't even know what the titles mean or what they do. Where's all that money coming from? And that's my question, and you should be asking the same questions. But I understand that you come here to ask for money to help with these initiatives. And here's the thing, they're important, and it's what's right. And so that's why I'm going to support it, even though I see a lot of stuff going on out there that's not right. And the Gibson Health Hub, is that the new name? I would love to see that open. Sanctuary encampments are not safe. The homeless on our streets, it is inhumane that they're out there, and we sanction it, which means we sanction the drug dealers that are feeding the addictions. Now, we can create a treatment center. Meanwhile, the drug dealers are out there just keeping us with the steady supply, right? And that's what makes me mad, is that we're working to create a better environment, and yet the bigger problems are still out there, and that's not being addressed. But I hope that we can get the Gibson Health Hub open. We need it. We need a safe shelter with a roof and meals and services for people who have addiction and behavioral health issues. And they're not getting that out on the streets in their tents and shopping carts and drug dealers hunting them down, or human traffickers or domestic violence offenders. It is a dangerous, horrible place. And then they're also committing crimes that the police have to look away from. They're not allowed because it's a misdemeanor. So this is a complicated issue. And yeah, this is a lot of money, I agree. But we do need it. And I think the county should step up to do this. But I'm frustrated with the broken system that's out there that a lot of people just sweep under the rug. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Benson. Yes, Commissioner O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that one of the things about this tax is that it is paid more than 80% of the tax is paid by the City of Albuquerque residents. I think that to sort of say, well, we're going to have total control over it all the time, I don't think that's fair to the City of Albuquerque residents. So I think it's important to work collaboratively with the city. And I think that, in terms of trying to do this perfect thing, right, it's not going to happen. I think we have a very complicated situation with the drug issue, and of course the folks that are experiencing homelessness. And so I believe we're trying to do some things and try to get some things done, but of course, it's not easy. It's not easy to do any of these things. I think this is a step in the right direction. I mean, I'm not going to, over-criticize this particular initiative. But, I do want to say that, and I have a big disagreement with Commissioner Benson on this. I think it is important to provide safe transitional housing for people. And if it's a tent, so be it. I think as long as these sites are managed as safe outdoor spaces, we can disagree on something like that. But I think it's a good thing. I've been very supportive of it publicly, and I want people to know that I am supportive of it, because hopefully there will be one that will be created in my district. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley, and thank you all for being here again so late. I do want to add a couple. I just want to make sure that folks understand there may be things that we all disagree on, or one, I just want to thank you. I see county and city and community service servants here committing your service, and you're just like our families and communities. They don't know whether it comes from the Albuquerque bucket or the Bernalillo County bucket. They just need services, and you all are ready to do it, and you're not asking them what territory they belong in and whose money they're going to get served through. So I just want us to embrace that. We could have 10 of these medical servicing centers, and we probably would still have a need. So I hope that we can keep forward with that. Last, I want to say this is the reason why I ran, right, for our behavioral health services, and I attend as many of the subcommittees I can. I go to as many of the ATAB committee meetings I go to, and our ABCG emergency meetings have consistent information given to us. And this has been the one thing that across the board, law enforcement, fire and EMTs, the hospitals and the ER rooms, providers of mental and substance use care, the jails have asked us over and over, from people like myself, Commissioner Quesada, Councilor Pena being on Zoom saying, crying because our folks have been turned away. This is the thing. This is the thing that can stop that bottlenecking at the ER, that can help relieve the bottlenecking within our in our jail. And I'm just happy and thankful that we're ready to move together on doing this. And thank you for being here in this late night and helping us all understand it. With that, I move to approve the items B1, 2, and 3, and the, move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Malley, second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? Commissioner Piscotti to oppose. Thank you. You have a do pass.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Moving on to item 11A, Communication Services, naming of First Choice Dental Clinic, Tia Bland to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I'm Tia Bland, Director of Communication Services and Chair of the county's internal Naming and Memorial Committee. And the naming proposal that I'm speaking about tonight came to us from Commissioner O'Malley. The proposal is to name there's a dental clinic that's located inside of the South Valley Family Health Commons on Centro Familiar Southwest. And inside that particular building, there is a First Choice Dental Health Clinic. And Commissioner O'Malley is proposing to name that particular dental health clinic after Dr. Joe Valles. And Dr. Joe, as he's affectionately known, passed away about a year or so ago, September 2021, I believe. And he was known for going way out of his way to try to provide dental health care to those who could not afford it. And in addition to that, I believe he was a West Side resident and was a very strong community advocate for a lot of things, West Side Albuquerque. As part of the committee's vetting, we let the community know that this naming proposal is out there, and we allow members of the community to comment, and we did receive 3 or 4 comments in favor of this particular proposal, and the naming committee also supports it. So that's my presentation. I'll try to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Tia. I know there's a whole process that naming a committee that these requests need to go through, and I appreciate that. I did reach out, of course, to Commissioner Quesada. This is his district, and he's supportive of this. Dr. Valles did live in District 1, and his dental clinic was actually in downtown area. And as you said, he went out of his way to help people. First of all, it's probably one of the most affordable dental practices in the city. And then he did go out of his way to help folks who couldn't afford, many times did it for free, and saw patients, as I said, who couldn't afford it. So that, and also he was originally raised in the South Valley. He's got a great story about that. And so it's that area, is near and dear to his heart, and it just seemed like it was appropriate to put it in that particular center. And that the center there, the health center, has got a great reputation. I mean, it's one of the, I think, really outstanding examples of really community health care in the county. And so I thank you for that, and I move approval.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Dr. Joe Valles has a new dental clinic. And we move on to items 11B, Finance, American Rescue Plan Award Approval. Denise Benavides to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. I'm Denise Benavides. I'm the Principal Financial Management Analyst. The West Side Park Phase 2 Improvements Project is being considered out of the revenue replacement, which was listed in the Arba project plan approved at the September 28, 2021 administrative meeting for staff to begin the analysis. Based on the analysis that has been completed, the Bernalillo County ARPA core team is recommending the approval of ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $1 million for the West Side Park Phase 2 improvements in accordance with expenditure category 6.01, which is revenue replacement provisions of government services. This funding will provide approximately 50% of Phase 2 overall project cost. The other 50% will be coming from bonds. The funding will enable the county to complete the West Side Park Phase 2 improvements and in particular, complete construction of a much-needed addition to the green space, create new amenities for special events, including a new stage and hookups for food trucks, along with related stormwater infrastructure at the West Side Park. I stand for questions. Along with me is John Barney if you have any questions regarding the project itself.
Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, much needed improvements to probably the busiest community center in the county. And so we appreciate you coming in, looking at really improving the area. And I'm hoping that we can use some of this to expand because I know they're probably running out of space there. It's a huge center for that community. It's a hub, really, for the community there. And so with that, I really would like to move for approval.
Second.
Second, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. You have approval. Go West Side Community Center. I love that place. My kids went there even though I don't live in that area. Great. Do we move on to items 12, announcement of the next commission, Tuesday, September 27, 2022, administrative meeting at 5 p.m., starting on time, Ken Sanchez Commission Chambers. If there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned.